Hey guys, so coming on so that we can finish up these earrings and get them completed. I'm probably going to complete these three. I might drill holes in these. We'll see how I go. We'll just see. Getting all my tools together, getting us situated so that we can drill some holes, clean these up. We'll probably have to do a little bit of resin work on them just to get them sealed and everything. And we'll also, in cleaning them up, we'll probably do some edge work and all that good stuff. So, first thing, I definitely know that these need just a smidge more resin on them because they're caved in and need that. These ones are pretty good. I think honestly I'm going to coat these in a gold around the edge and then we'll make them into earrings. Pretty simple. These ones I think I will do a layer on the back. They just need a little bit more on the back, and then we'll probably do those in silver is my thinking. So let's get the resin on these. Let's pull one of our trays for our UV light over. Let me move this one out of the way. Bring this one in here so that we can get this. Oops, I bumped y'all, sorry. I'm trying something a little bit with a mirror to see if I can make sure that I've got you in frame. So I could stick these on a little bit of tape just to hold them down, but I am going to try to do it without that, basically. So I'm putting a decent amount in the center. Granted, we don't want it to flow over, but we do want, you know, a good amount here. It's like a hair or something. I don't know what that was. And basically just spreading it to the edge. Oops, got a little stringy. Got a little stringy. Bring it as much to the edge as we can. Granted, being careful that I'm not touching the resin. This one definitely wanted to go to that edge, but we want it to spread out. And letting it kind of do its thing and self-level, just enough to help it dome up and self-level itself out a little bit. We don't want to let them self-level too long because we don't want it to cure, you know, in this bubbled area basically, or flow over, because it's going to find the lowest point and it's going to try to flow itself off the edge or in your little earring hole. So I'm just trying to avoid that and get those around. All right. I don't think we have like any bubbles that I'm concerned about. I'm just gonna look at it closely. I'm gonna put it under my light over here off to the side. And I'm doing the resin work first so that when we start doing our drilling, I'm not worried about all that dust getting in our resin. So we'll let that go. I'm going to go ahead and I bought a new drill bit, or I bought a bunch of new drill bits. It came with this type. This is just a hand one. Essentially it's the same concept, but it's just a hand drill bit. I've never been able, that's weird, it like has a piece of metal that just came out of it. Weird. I've never been able to really make success with them. I truly think the Dremel is worth it. but this had a good selection of drill bits in it, so I went ahead and bought it. Trying to not scatter these everywhere. Now that's a little too small for what we're doing here today. I would say this one is probably about right, but you know what we're gonna do? We've got 2 of them here. We're just gonna see which one. Okay, yeah, that one. This one is too big. Okay, so this is the one I want. I just tested it in that hole, just so that we know. All right, so we're gonna turn this on. We stop it, and we loosen this, and we pull that one out. That one is done. I'm gonna toss it, and we're gonna stick this one in. Put this back over. Tighten it all the way. And there we go. Okay, so this is what I use. Just a piece of cardboard. This is what I use to go underneath me so that when I'm drilling a hole, I don't drill through my table. So that's all that one needed. It just needed a little help. Voila. Alright. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Now our pieces over here probably are done. The UV light was still going, but that's fine. Oh yeah, that domed up beautifully, which is what I wanted. I just wanted to give it just enough. Yep. Yep. Let's see if these ones are enough. I might need to put one more thin coat on them. Just a very tiny amount. Well, I say tiny, but you know, we gotta get it across the whole thing, so we gotta give it a little bit more than that. Okay. And I'm just being super careful with my fingers, and I have my resin remover here in my workspace. If I got too much resin on me, I would just get my hands cleaned up. You could put gloves on or the little finger cots to help with this so that you're not. No need to risk it like I am at the moment. Okay. Whew, this one really wants to go to that edge right there. And I'm like, no. We do not need to go all the way to that edge. Let's just... All right. Love it. We'll pop those back under there. Okay. So these, I think our holes are good on them. The only thing that I think they need is just a little bit of sanding. Let's see. Where is my little sanding tool? So one of these drawers, it's going to be the last one I look in. Yep. Just need a little sandpaper piece to go on our tool because we wore the last one out. And then, now, I have the same with the Dremel. You don't need 2 tools, okay? The Dremel, you can switch that drill bit out and put a sander on it. Super easy to do, but I do so much work. I feel like that I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna have an extra tool, and I got this one pretty cheap, so I just decided, you know what, we're gonna have a little tool that we use for, oh, those are still tacky. Oh, let's throw those back under. extra tool for my sanding purpose. Now this one, I realized when I go to edge it, it's pretty low here, so I'm going to go ahead and put just another super thin coat on here, especially right in there and on this edging. But of course I'm going to have to make sure that I blend it so that we don't end up with a funky thing. And when you sand, here's the good news, is once you sand, if you put resin over it, it's gonna take away your sand marks. And once we coat the side with a little oil paint pen, we won't have to worry about it either, because that's gonna hide that as well. But I could tell you that blemish there was going to really show up from the paint pen. So I wanted to clean that up just a little bit with a little bit more UV resin. We're going to let those go for about 180 seconds because it's really needing to cure up. Okay, so these ones I want to cover. I threw something at myself. I don't even know what that was that I threw. It was a paintbrush, and not one of my paintbrushes. So I'm going to use this Uni paint marker in gold, and it's like spray paint. You gotta shake it, get it, you know, flowing, and it's just going to be really simple. And this will dry super fast. You gotta be careful to not paint it on the front or your back or wherever you don't want it. I mean, if you wanted it on your front or your back, go for it. But in this case, I don't want it on the front or the back because it will darken it too much. And all you'll see is the gold, and you won't get the look that we have with the glitter and everything. So loving that. Where did our other one go? I probably should have cleaned these up just a smidge. There's a little bit of a lip on the back of them, but it's not bad enough that that's gonna not be too worrisome. I was afraid I got it on the front, but that's still fine. Okay. So just nice thin coat, and we'll let those dry because it does take a little bit for them to fully cure up. What color should we do these ones? Should we do silver? Should we do gold? I think gold, because I feel like shamrocks at the end of the, you know, rainbow, we have gold, right? That's what I might go with. Now, I have just this top little lip here. I'm going to make sure that I get on the front just to cover the imperfection where I sanded it. And it's amazing how a finishing touch can really give it that final look. I'm going to show you this piece compared to the one that's still curing under the light. I was like, that was a really long time. I'm glad I painted these. I would have been so antsy waiting for that. So I'll show you with that one how it looks, just the difference. Like, this frames it, whereas this is still very, you can't, your eyes don't catch the framing of it like it does here. We ended up with a little divot, but I don't think it's enough to worry about. Okay, let's go ahead and cover this one in gold. Yep, I knew that spot was gonna be funky, but it's better than it would have been. This one definitely had more bubbles. You can definitely see when you're coating your paint, like where there was a bubble on the side. And that's okay. Resin is always going to be one of those things that it's never going to be 100%. And it's never going to be always like perfect. You know, it's art. I was listening to an audiobook earlier today, and one of the things it said, it was a novel, so it wasn't like a nonfiction or anything of that nature, but it was in the novel. There's a woman who's an artist, and she's like, well, art is up for interpretation. And I was like, that's very true. And that's very accurate. So, you know, I was like, definitely the way art is. And so it made me just think, like, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to have a polished look, maybe per se, always, because art is up to interpretation. If I'm happy with it, or somebody else is happy and wants to buy it, then that should be plenty. Okay, so we got the backs of these. These ones did curl a little bit. There's not much I can do about it because they're just the way they are. Sometimes these markers are really hard to get the lids off. So I'm going to do these ones in silver. I just think that will accent it pretty well. I kind of want to go over the rough part and then do a wipe off, but these particular pens would not be good for that because once they go on, there's not much wiping off to be done. I do love how the different greens look. Might not touch them. I just kind of want a little definition. Look at the difference, you know? Just something so simple as coating the outside, or the edge. Oh, there's a lip there. I'm going to use I will use my deburring tool for that one. Like round and round we go. Okay. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Alright, folks, my deburring tool. Let's see. So there's just a little bit of an edge on this one, so I'm just going to take my deburring tool and just catch that enough. It's stronger than my fingernail, obviously, so it allows me to take that edge off that was sticking up there, and that's really all it needed, was just a little removal of that. There was a little bit of, and the deburring tool takes a little bit of practice to use, just because this piece does spin and it has a very sharp piece on it, and it doesn't take much force to just take that right on off. Now I was being careful that I wasn't going to end up taking away the part that we've, you know, essentially painted on the edge, but if you did, you could always go back and clean that up a little bit. I'm gonna try something on here. I just want to see if I put this on there, if I can wipe it off. Okay, so I can. So I'm gonna try something. Let's see if this works. You know, it's all about experimenting, right? I'm afraid it's going to take all of it off. But my hope is that the paint will stay in the little crevices. We'll see. Now I wetted this part so that I could take it. Yep, didn't stay. Okay. Yep. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen with that particular marker. Okay. I don't think these are any better because I think they are basically I think they're basically the same type, but we're gonna try them. So what the heck? What the heck? Why not? These are brand new, so I gotta open them. I'm just grabbing like a tan. I'm not anything particularly, wasn't like a for certain this is the one it has to be, but these are water based, so I think it's going to wipe off just like the other, but I'm gonna give it just a minute and let that dry kind of and see what happens. Like, and I'm not going to use as wet of a spot. Oh yeah, see, that's more what I was looking for. See, to give it like a true look of, hey, we can tell that it's bumpy. So now we got to do this one. And then we got to actually choose the color we want. But I'm going to do this one so that they kind of blend, you know, because that one we're going to have that as the base. And then what color should we do? I wish I had like a bright gold, but I don't think we're going to get that out of these. Which we're not. Would also be contrasting. I don't know. That's kind of strange. Like I'm going for that one. So we'll see. I let that one dry a little bit more, and it definitely stayed on there more. I don't know, y'all. We'll see how I like this or not, right? Okay. I mean, I kind of like that. So let's didn't wipe off as easily.
I'm not sure what you mean by work off as easily. Could you tell me more about what you're trying to do?
Oh my goodness. That was Alexa, y'all. She scared the living bejesus out of me. Oh, gave me a heart attack. It's all good. All good. Just had to make sure my heart was beating. Sure enough. Yep, it's beating. Y'all, Whew, okay. I was like, what daughter snuck in here? I was like, oh my gosh, one of my kiddos like snuck in here. Because I have both of my headphones in, both, you know, earbud pod like things in. So I'm like zoned in. Well, that didn't quite do what I thought it was going to do. I kind of want to try. I'm going to try. Just that patch and see. Kind of like that. This is pretty small pen, but maybe if I'm not across the whole thing, we either are going to really enhance these or we're going to hate it. I'm not sure which. I'm liking it a little bit more because it is shining it up. I like that. And I think that I will do a truly bright gold like that over the top, like to define it. I'm going to do that line. Oh, my heart's still racing. Goodness gracious. Like, I kind of like it just like that even. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Okay, y'all. Okay. See, sometimes it just takes, like, what you're envisioning in your head might take a few little, like, trials and errors before you get what you want. So don't give up. Like, I could have gave up on that, and I'm glad I didn't, because that was the look that I wanted more of. I want that semi-polished, but not full shine, not fully in, taking away the green, but also giving it kind of more of a textural look, because now we can actually see that texture, which is, in my opinion, pretty cool. So like these ones, we don't see that texture. I'm thinking I'm going to do the same thing with them. I'm going to go forward in doing the same exact thing that we just did with those on the lower part of these that is textured. So I'm kind of just giving my line where that texture is, and I'm not even having to cover this full on, like all the way covered. I'm getting mainly in all the creases, of course. Trying to get in those creases as much as possible. I'm using a pretty dry part of the paper towel to wipe that off. Now, you gotta remember these dry quickly, so you don't got a lot of time to work with it, but I like that a lot better than leaving it just plain, because it's allowing you to see that that is textured. Like here, that is the textured side, but you would almost think that that's the back potentially, you know, but here's the back. So this helps give you that definition that it is textured, and I like that. I like it, y'all. I like it. Okay, so let's come across the top here, because it just gives me a good definition spot. And again, I'm not being like super particular about how or tedious about how I color it, just mainly trying to kind of get in those grooves. And I'm giving it just a moment to kind of dry, and then I'm wiping it off. I love it. I think it came out really good. And you can use just a little bit of the wet to even get in there. Shine that up. Cool. I like it. Okay, I'm glad I did that. But see, again, didn't give up. Keep trying until we get it how we want it. Okay, so did these holes get, nope, they're good and clear. All right, because I was trying to make sure that we had holes and everything. So now we can add our hardware. These are going to need a C-clasp. These two sets, I think we can use jump rings as long as we get a good size of jump ring. Do I have gold jump rings? I have some. I think they would look better. Bottle with the gold. Yeah, we've got some gold in here. Let's do that. Even though I covered those in silver, I think because the front is gold, that's what I want to go with. So, we're going to want 4 jump rings. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I hope these ones are big enough. If they're not, I've got a little bit bigger ones, which we might have to go to. We might do a double jump ring, actually. Actually speaking. Now, I don't have gold C-clasp, so those are just going to have to be the silver, but it's kind of a dull silver, so sort of, kind of. We'll see. We'll see. All right. I can already tell you we're going to need a bigger jump ring for the gold there, so these I think are the same size, if not smaller. I feel like these are a little too big, but they are the next best thing. Okay, so this is going to be kind of in a 2-step process for these ones. So I've got my jump ring tool so that I can open the jump rings. And we're gonna slip, I have it open enough to slip the earring on there. And then close that back up. You could always seal that with a little bit of resin if you wanted. I'm gonna look, I'm still pretty certain these are too small. But I just wanna prove to myself that they are. You know, it's one of those things until I try it, which I can pretty much tell you it is, but I wanted to prove that it was, and it is. Okay, so then we're going to put the little jump ring. I opened these. Let me do this left-handed. And we're going to make sure that when we put our earring piece on, that it's going to face the right way. And then we got to close this jump ring. Ba-da-ba. Look at that. Oh, I love it. They kind of remind me of pizzas. Just because of the shape, I guess. But I do like it. And either somebody who loves gold or green, that's a great little gift for somebody. These ones aren't specifically, you know, St. Patrick's Day, but could be used for St. Patrick's. I think these big jump rings would work on that, so we might just do the same. Open up, Sesame. Alright, let's put you into the jump ring. Make sure our earring is going to face the right way. And close our jump ring. Look at how cute. Let's do these ones. Let me grab my earring pieces so that I have them. We ended up with so many tangled, because they just tangle. But we'll go ahead and get 2 more for those clover ones. That one looked like it had stuff on it, but I think it's fine. Okay. The less you have to open a jump ring, it is the better. Just for the integrity of said jump ring. And you want them to line up. You don't really want them to overlap one another. Because things can get caught if they're overlapping. Unless it's a jump ring that's meant to be overlapped. There are certain they're probably not called jump rings, but there are certain ones that have like 2 or 3 overlap. They're just a lot sturdier. My pliers are in the way. I'm gonna open this one just a little more. These are so tiny of jump rings. Like I can't get my pliers and everything in the right position. There we go. Look at how beautiful. I love when a project just comes together. It's like, yes, it just comes together and works. I love that. Love the finalized look. Sometimes I'm like, golly, it's, you know, sometimes when you're working on a project, you're like, I've been working on this project so long. And I tend to have a hard time finishing earrings because you can make tons of earrings and then this process can take forever because you're just, and it's very repetitive of open a jump ring, close a jump ring, open a jump ring, close a jump ring, make sure the earring piece is on correct, close another jump ring, you know, it's very repetitive. And for my mind, repetitiveness like that is not something that my brain does well with because it gets very bored very, very fast. So I do have a tendency, you guys don't want to see how many partially done earrings I have that need to be completed. They're super cute. There's a lot of cute ones there. The last couple of these that I did kind of overlapped themselves, but there we go. So yeah, I just tend to throw them in like jars and containers. And as I've been cleaning and reorganizing the craft space, I keep finding more and I'm like, oh gosh, there's more. There's more that need to be put together or just even dremeled and like the finishing touches. You know, adding the edging, things of that nature. I just seriously struggle with that. So 3 is a good amount, I think, when we're doing it. 3 is a nice amount of them. It's not too overwhelming of an amount to do. And it also feels accomplishing. It's not too understated, basically. Look at those. Look at those. They came out really cute. For all the trouble we had, they came out really cute. So our other little shamrock pieces that I am not putting into earrings, they just look kind of funky. I think what I'll use them for is I'll probably put them in like a jar or a vase that has other things in it. If it stays as warm as it's been today, and that it's projected to be, if it can stay this temp, maybe the next tutorial, because I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't know what we're going to do because we're still kind of in St. Patrick's Day. So I think if it stays warm enough, maybe we'll do an actual pour, resin pour, and maybe we'll add those in to whatever we create. I'll choose a mold that we pour into and let you guys see that. I think that would be a fun tutorial. We'll do like a St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if it will be a vase or a jar, trinket jar, or maybe like a honey pot, possibly. I'll have to look. I'll look at what I have. I mean, I have all those that I named. but I'll truly look and see like what speaks to me, and we'll put those in there with some fun green things. We'll do some of these in there. We'll have those in there. That kind of thing. I think that's what we're going to do. Just because they didn't quite come out the way I wanted for earrings. So we'll get creative. We'll repurpose them. They're not going to go to waste by any means. You know, can't have them go to waste. Okay. So, let's take a little look-see. Look how pretty those are. Look at these ones. I'm just going to move y'all up there so that we can see. Oh, please tell me I put you on correctly. Did I? Are you laying funny? Okay, yeah, you were just laying funny. Perfect. Wouldn't put it past myself to have put it on wrong. So, you know. But we'll be fine. Look at these. Come on, camera. Come to focus. Let's put this flash on. Maybe. It's really hard for y'all to see the shamrocks in these, but they're really cute. And these are so sweet. The colors, the camera just doesn't do them justice. I might try to take a picture with my professional camera and post those on there, because this just doesn't do them justice that it should for what we have. I mean, they're so much prettier than that. So I'll do a little mock-up kind of thing at the end of this video so that you can see them a lot better with that, since the flash and everything just isn't quite giving them the look. But these turned out really cute. And like I said, these ones don't have to be St. Patrick's Day, but I think it's a fun flair for somebody who wants to wear green but doesn't want to be overstated on it. So I think that's a great way to do it. Hope y'all are enjoying, and I'll be back next week. We'll do something fun with those. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.